A march against gender-based violence will carve the path to the annual Ruth First Memorial Lecture. SACP General Secretary Mapaila is the keynote speaker, and the lecture marks 40 years since journalist and SACP leader Ruth First was assassinated by the apartheid regime. On the 17th of August in 1982, she received a parcel bomb in the mail while in exile in Maputo. We've got reporter Slindelo Masikane, who is there and joins us now. Thank you very much for your time this morning. An all-important conversation around GBV, Slindelo, but it's a conversation that we've been having for a long time, and it looks like things are changing extremely slowly, if at all, in many of South Africa's communities.
Certainly so. We know that the scourge of gender-based violence in South Africa is at really untenable levels. We know that the president himself has described it as a pandemic, and what we're seeing today is the SACP adding its voice to the conversation. We're outside Constitution Hill. I'm joined by the SACP's Jacob Mamabolo. Thank you so much for your time this morning, sir. I can see that we do have some of your members here this morning. Maybe just give us some context as to why the SACP felt it necessary to not only hold this march but also have the lecture taking place in Johannesburg this morning.
Yes, good morning to you, to all the viewers. So the South African Communist Party in Gauteng province, with our national leadership, we have decided that today we must have a march through the streets of the city of Johannesburg to highlight the issues relating to gender-based violence, GBV. So we want to raise awareness, we want to make our contribution, pledge solidarity with all the victims of gender-based violence, but also make sure that, we make our contribution in raising awareness, call on men to desist from acts of gender-based violence. But immediately after that, we are going to unveil the very first annual memorial lecture. We are celebrating the life of one of the world-celebrated communist scholars, Comrade Ruth First, who was killed very brutally in Mozambique while she was in exile. And she actually was trying to open a letter, and that letter actually had a bomb that exploded. And it is now 40 years since she died. And she died in this very same month, on the 17th of August. And we felt that as part of the August month activities, over and above highlighting, the issues relating to gender-based violence, but also we must use the memory, the legacy, the experiences and the lessons we can learn from the rich life of Ruth First to also again make a contribution to the struggle, to the fight against gender-based violence. Because Ruth First, she was very militant. She would have definitely led from the front, would have made sure that we bring to an end the scourge of gender-based violence.
Yeah, just lastly then, Mr. Mamabolo, what does it say, the fact that women in this country just don't feel safe anywhere? What does it say about the levels of crime and exactly what government needs to be doing to step in?
So we believe that three things are important. One is that we need struggles like this ones, like the one we're taking up today, to continue the fight. Secondly, we need communities as well, like we have seen with Gauteng, the partnership between communities, law enforcement, street by street, neighborhood by neighborhood, forming committees and structures to fight this problem. Thirdly, we need public education, but most importantly, the decisive deterrent will be law enforcement acting decisively and across, from police, judiciary, but also correctional services. So the entire criminal justice system needs to also make sure that they up the game, they intensify and use the capacity of the state to defend the most vulnerable, the working class and the people. So from all fronts, from many angles, we believe we will defeat gender-based violence.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mamabolo. All right, Rapiwa, I'm just going to allow Mr. Mamabolo to join the march. As you can see, it has already begun. We're here, like I said, just outside Constitution Hill in Braamfontein. My colleague Mohammed is just going to give you some of the live visuals as they begin their march. They're going to move towards the CBD where the lecture is going to take place at City Hall. And of course, we understand that the General Secretary, Mapaila, will be delivering the lecture, which is the first of many, which we understand that's going to honor the life of Ruth First, but also highlighting those challenges around gender-based violence in the country. The SACP adding its voice, saying that they also want to contribute in order to find solutions to end the scourge.
And hopefully there'll be one of many organizations or structures, Lee, that will lead from the front, as the MEC indicated was the character of Ruth First, in that she would have led from the front. We'll catch up with you a little bit later on. That is Slindelo Masikane, who is following that SACP march around GBV and really trying to find sustainable solutions for what has now been called a pandemic in South Africa.